welcome to the Women's Power Hour show. Joining me this week is the very lovely Michaela Johnston, who is the founder of the mental health charity HSO. Michaela, I'd like to welcome you to the programme.
Hello, thank you so much for having me.
Oh my goodness, I am so excited for you to share your story. I really am. I think this is a moment of, people understanding potential and being inspired. And goodness gracious, if ever we needed it, now is definitely the time. It really has. So I guess before we delve into your charity work and what that means and everything tied to that, it'd be great for the listeners to find out a little bit more about you and your journey. And I know that you shared some things with me from sort of teen years onwards. So I just think that would be a wonderful starting point.
So the reason why I started HSO and the reason why we are specifically a non-for-profit charity is because I experienced mental health and I understand how difficult it can be to anyone, male, female, child, young person, older. I've got a very colourful background, but I actually, from the ages of 14 to 21 or so, I lived on the streets. So I'd live in shop doors, bandos, benches, you name it. So I was kind of, at that particular age, I was almost too old for social services, but then too young to have a place of my own. So I was kind of on the outskirts of the system quite a lot. So I also had to drop out of college and obviously in education because it was safer to sleep during the day opposed to during the night. So I would sleep during the day, and then at nighttime I didn't have a penny to my name. You would grab anything that you could grab, and you kind of just lived each day as it came, literally, like, on the line. Things like showers was such a privilege when I got off the streets. But that was all in Bristol, and then I made a huge move. So I actually had a very, very dark moment, and I think my mental health kind of got the better of me. And made the big decision to move away from Bristol and move to London. So I moved 200 or so miles, and then I wanted, all on the premises, I wanted to give back to the community. So moved to London, re-enrolled back into college, and obviously went on to university. And now we have this fantastic charity called HSO that's helping children and young people who are in crisis, so vulnerable children and young people who are in crisis. And to date, we've supported 373 children since January 2020. So wow. Yes, incredible, really, really incredible. Very humbled.
Absolutely I mean, I don't think, I guess if you've not been homeless, you just cannot quite fathom, that journey. And I guess, without going into the dark moment, what was that thing that made you go, I'm moving from Bristol, I'm going to go to London, and I'm just going to turn this around? What was driving that? Because I'm guessing for most people, it'd be like, I would just be in such a state of loss, I couldn't even begin to see any sunshine.
I didn't have anything left to lose. I was done. I didn't have, I remember, I think I had something like £4.17 or something in my bank, and the mega bus from Bristol to London was £1. Wow. So I remember just using that, and I remember doing that, buying the ticket and getting a pasty. I think I remember how I was sitting there with it, going to London with this pasty, and kind of I didn't have anything, didn't own anything, so I kind of had a bag full of bits and bobs. Moved, and then thankfully I don't have any family. I do now, sorry. I have my own family, which I'm very, very, very thankful for. But back then I only had one family member, obviously in the Hertfordshire area. So obviously moved to London, moved in with my grandma, actually. Which was a bit of, being 21 and moving in with an 80-year-old was definitely something. But and I just remember thinking I didn't have anything left to lose. My soul was spent. It was simple things like I didn't have any money for sanitary products as well. Obviously, being a young woman on the streets, the people on the streets were more often than not male.
Yes.
And they could be quite dominant as well in regards to kind of how things were. So I just knew I didn't have anything left to lose. I knew that if I didn't leave and I didn't remove myself from that situation, then I wouldn't be sat here today talking to you. So I had to do it, and I feel very feel very humbled now, thinking back on it. It almost feels like a story that kind of that I can just recite now. But it's very, I don't regret any of it. I don't feel sad about it. I don't feel a resentment. I don't feel anything apart from feeling very humbled that obviously I'm here now, and I feel very empowered as a female entrepreneur who's managed to build a company, build a charity from the ground, and to be able to go out and help 373 children, young people who were me. They were me, not so long ago, a decade ago or so. I'm very thankful that I had to go through that experience to then be able to help the people that I'm helping now.
Absolutely. And I think whilst we never wish those experiences on anyone, sometimes it just takes those experiences to propel us into our purpose. And so, here you are and doing amazing work and changing other people's lives, which has got to be, as you said, not only humbling, but just truly grateful that you pulled yourself through in order to be in this position today.
100%. And the biggest thing is that I'm, as cliche as it sounds, I'm alive, I'm healthy, I have a wonderful 4-year-old daughter, I have a dog now. It's a real domestic kind of bliss, but it's been a huge journey to get to where I am now. And obviously that journey is still not over. I'm kind of only halfway through my journey, but it was definitely, being a young woman, being on the streets, or I was a child, as much as I say I was a young woman, I was a child, female child on the streets, to then go back into education and then to go into business, where predominantly a lot of I think female entrepreneurs and female business owners were almost kind of like a rare breed, in a sense that I'm forever kind of like, where are the women? Like, where are my fellow ladies? Where are they gone? I must say, I think each part of my life has been empowering in the sense that I've learned various different, hindsight's a wonderful things. I would love to know now, what I know now compared to where I was, a long time ago. But I think there's definitely something in trying to empower as many people, male and female, but trying to empower as many people as possible, and knowing and understanding, rather than knowing, understanding that everything has a ripple effect. So if one person does one kind thing, or something nice for someone else, and that will then kind of go on. And I think it's just kind of understanding that, and knowledge is power.
It really is, and that's so true. The ripple effect of paying it forward, as I like to say. It's absolutely brilliant. Okay, let's have a little break, Michaela, and then we'll come back to this conversation. So here we are, returning to our conversation with Michaela, who has been sharing her personal journey, really, from homelessness into entrepreneurship, and founder of this amazing charity, doing amazing work, helping over 300 children to date, or young people to date. To be able to achieve that at any time is amazing. But I really wanted to speak to you a little bit about the challenges that you faced, because I know you pulled yourself up from that situation that you were in, and then you had to re-enter the world of education, or you chose to. And I know that you had some challenges doing that. Can you just share a little bit about that?
Yeah, so I, as I said previously, I didn't have any education. I had to quickly find a job that would also I obviously didn't have any money, so that would help me to go back into education. So went into educational settings and trained that way, and managed to do my degree whilst doing that, which was fantastic. But it was very male dominated, and because which was odd, really, because I always kind of envisioned schools to be female teachers, which I know is very stereotypical.
Yes.
But I felt like the senior leadership team of schools were male, and specifically where I was anyway. But because I never really had a voice, I never had a backbone, in a sense that I kind of hidden in the shadows for such a long time. I kind of developed that kind of survival mode, in the sense of I would just kind of be more of a wallflower than anything else. So where I had ideas and where I wanted to go and make a difference with these children that obviously we were working with, I was shut down quite a lot, and I would find it very, very hard and intimidating speaking to authoritative figures to then say, you know, this is my idea, or this is what I would like to do. So I had to overcome quite a lot of that during my journey. And I'm still today, I'm still I'm still powering through, but it was definitely hard. And then when I actually, before I founded HSO, I worked in a education support centre. So an education support centre is a facility where children and young people who can no longer attend their mainstream setting would attend. So they're not able to go to their primary or secondary school, so they go to an ESC instead.
Right.
There, it is very male dominated, because you do have to have, it's with physical restraints, things like that, you do tend to have more men than females. So I found it very hard to kind of be a part of that. Don't get me wrong, like it was a fantastic team to work with, and I loved every second of it. But I never really found my voice. I never found who I was, and I don't think anyone really kind of recognized who I was. It was only when I took a step back and thought, you know, I need to go, I need to make a difference. I moved here for a reason. I'm not doing that reason at the moment. I want to go and do it now. So that's when HSO started, and that was when I think I shocked everyone, including myself, to when the business was incorporated. But it's definitely been a struggle, and even, you know, today, going into meetings and with anyone who are kind of, you know, authoritative and almost kind of showing them who I am now, you know, who I've evolved into,
Yes.
is really something. So it's definitely been a challenge. And it's, I think also with mental health as well, I think when you always kind of get stigmatized and kind of put into a box, in the sense of, you know, if you have anxiety, if you have depression, or if you've had some form of, you know, post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD, you're kind of deemed to fit a certain bill. So you're not deemed to kind of run a business, or
Yes.
you know, you're not deemed to be a manager or things like that. So and also I'm also 5'1.5", so I'm tiny, you know, super blonde hair, and I probably don't fit the stereotypical bill. So I think I've challenged the system, definitely.
Yes.
And I've challenged myself, but I'm proud of that. I feel proud of that.
Yeah. Well, fantastic. I mean, challenging the system is always going to be a win, as far as I'm concerned. So I think and isn't it great, because it's like breaking all of these molds, and it's like, why are we still referring to these molds anyway? Who put them there? So I think it's wonderful that you've kind of challenged all of those and broke through them all. And I think that really instills hope in people, you know, for anyone who is listening and thinking, yeah, but I'm not this, and I'm not that, I haven't got this. So what? You know, who says you have to? Just have the drive and the passion. And I think that speaks absolute volumes. Excellent. Okay, let's have another little break, Michaela, and then we'll come back and just get you to speak a little bit more about HSO and the different services that you provide. Great, so here we are in the studio with Michaela Johnson, who is the founder of the mental health charity HSO. She has very generously been sharing her own personal story and what's taken her to start this business, and also spoken very candidly about the challenges that she has faced along the way, and I think some of the prejudices that have come up, or the molds, whatever we want to call them. But I'd like to just focus a little bit more on your business now, Michaela, and just find out, you know, it's a not-for-profit. So you started in 2019. What does HSO stand for?
So HSO stands for Heart Schools Outreach. So we started off working in Hertfordshire, and now we're venturing out into Bedfordshire and Buckinghamshire. So we kind of just stuck with HSO because we didn't want to obviously just be kind of stuck to one county. But no, we are a non-for-profit organisation. We are solely based on donations and funding from various different sponsors like Children in Need and Comic Relief. And our mission statement, we want to create a lasting, impactful support service for all children and young people across the UK. So we want to remove the stigmas behind mental health. We want to make sure that people are talking about mental health. And we also want to make sure that there's no subject is taboo. You know, it's okay to talk about the taboo subjects, I suppose, and it's okay to talk about depression. It's okay to feel a bit lost sometimes.
So how do the children that you work with, how do they come to you? Are they referred?
They're referred. So we have 4 different projects. We have Phoenix, which is all specifically around empowerment. So it's rising from the ashes, specifically around mental health. So we go into schools. So schools would make a referral to us, or indeed the families of children who attend school. Those particular schools obviously would refer to us. And then we would then work with them to make sure that they're becoming, resilient and empowered with who they are and who they want to be and what they want to become. And then we then have Shield, which is, we work with the Met Police. So it's specifically working on gang and criminal exploitation. So focusing on criminal justice and making sure that the people that are kind of affiliated with gangs know who they can speak to and who they can, that there is someone there
Yes.
who can help them out and kind of explain different things, and so they're not alone. And then we have our legacy program, which is all about self-esteem. So we run football camps over the summers, which is so nice, and I'm terrible at football, but we love doing it. It's really good, and which is specifically for male and female from the ages of 5 to 11. So yeah, it's very busy, it's very good. And then all of that, we have an online service called Ahana Mind, which is where all of our resources, so 10 years worth of work, we put it all into an online hub. So all of our families and all the people that we speak to can just go online and grab the resources that we use and have something tangible at home to be able to manage their mental health. So that's what we do.
Absolutely amazing work. I'm just thrilled to hear what you have done and what you've been able to achieve in such a short space of time, which of course again gives all of us encouragement to understand what is possible for us and how we can all have that make that difference and the ripple effect. Okay, let's have another little break. When we come back, Michaela, I just want to speak to you a little bit more about self-care and of course how mental health is very much a part of that. So let's get to that after this little break. Okay, so here we are. As I have said before, in case you're only just joining us, we've got Michaela Johnson in the studio. She is the founder of the mental health charity HSO, and she's been talking about her own journey from homelessness to entrepreneurship, running this amazing non-profit charity and helping children and young people out of those situations that she herself once found herself in. And I think that is just such a beautiful, powerful story. I almost want to feel like if I was a film writer, I'd be writing a film, but I'm not. So we'll let that one go. But you speak very strongly about mental health and the importance of it. And I guess what I want to ask is now, considering everything that you've been through and all the people that you're helping, what do you do to really safeguard your own self-care, your own mental well-being?
Well, I've learned an awful lot about my own mental health through an awful lot of my studies and practice, and you kind of develop a sense of self when it comes to the more you start exploring mental health. And truthfully, I read a lot, so I read an awful lot. I'm a huge bookworm, and I'm forever reading various different articles on various different cases and obviously mental health related cases. And but the one thing that I do prioritize, and I make sure that I build and almost I almost don't want to say build into my day, because it should be something that everyone should be doing, but I purposely make sure that I switch off in a sense of, so I have a 4-year-old little girl, obviously I have my husband, and it's I think at the weekend we just made paper aeroplanes and just kind of it really daft things that are just kind of completely really silly, and just kind of really I just completely remove myself. We hear some really harrowing stories. They are real life, that these are lives of children, young people that obviously we're supporting. So it is very, very heavy. And add that into the mix with people that kind of that do suffer from mental health. You have to be able to switch off.
Yes.
So at the weekends, and the evenings, I switch everything off. I kind of try and come away from screens and try and ignore Amazon. And then and I just I enjoy a nice takeaway, and or like a nice family meal that I'll cook, or my daughter and I will cook together, which is nice. And so we have a very energetic Springer Spaniel, so we'll go out we're quite lucky, we'll go out for walks and things like that. So it does sound like an ideal life, don't get me wrong. There are very many times when obviously you'd have a 4-year-old and a very energetic Springer Spaniel that can be very stressful.
Yes.
But the point is that I switch off. I mean, the secret to happiness is contentment. So if you're content in your surroundings and you're content with who you are, or you find contentment in your daily life,
yes,
then you can be happy, and you can really experience life in the present moment, opposed to thinking about the past or the future. And I think that is something that we should all practice and all do.
Absolutely. And I think you're absolutely right. Being in the now, and not getting caught up in what has been or what might be, because it calms the mind. It just allows the mind to calm back down. But I love that whole thing with the paper planes and stuff, because I always think, as we get older, as we become adults, it's almost like we think that fun is this thing for children, or we stick it in a box, and we don't really do fun because we're too busy doing the important things in life. But fun is essential, and it just keeps you in touch with that childlike state that we all have and we can all tap into. So I think that's absolutely brilliant. I haven't done a paper plane for ages.
You should. I think our neighbours probably thought we were crazy, kind of to shoot them out of the window, but it was good fun. It was really, really good fun. And I think this weekend we're planning on doing something equally as mad as that. So it's good to have a laugh, and it's good for the soul as well.
Definitely. It balances out, as you said, very much with your work, which is pretty heavy stuff.
It is heavy,
so I think that makes it even more important. But even if you're not doing really heavy type work where you're having to listen to people's experiences, taking time for self is essential. With all of that said, it would be really interesting to just find out about the industry that you're in. You've had to kind of fight for your space in it a bit.
Yeah, I have.
If you're happy to just touch on a little bit about that, because I find it really interesting that you've made your mark, you're doing this stuff, but you're still having to fight for that space.
So I was when I first started thinking about HSO, and I started thinking that what I was doing currently in that what I was doing in my previous role wasn't enough. I was told I couldn't do it. I wasn't good enough. I wasn't qualified enough. I am, but they thought otherwise. They also thought they made a point of saying if it could be done, it would have been done already by me, like by the person that was saying it to me. You might as well go work in Tesco's, was the actual quote. And I remember just feeling and I think I've truthfully, being really truthful, I've been put down and belittled by an awful lot of, don't get me wrong, I love men as equally as females, but I think I have had a lot of male authoritative figures kind of put me down throughout my life, and going against the grain and saying, no, I can do it, I will do it, and there are many, I know many brilliant people that work at Tesco's and have huge careers, but I want to go and do this, and I can do this. So I did, and I think I shocked everyone, including myself, how well it went and how well it is going, and how much of a difference we're making, which is still so to kind of pinch myself sometimes. But it's one of the biggest things I found was those particular people that said that to me actually called my the schools that we were supporting, and the families, basically in essence told them that we weren't good enough and that they shouldn't be working with us. So in which sense, obviously it was awful, and I remember just panicking and thinking this is horrendous, but in the same breath, but also proudly was able to show all of our qualifications, all of the kind of the case studies and assessment data that we have as a charity, the difference. So I was able to provide all this different stuff and say, we are good, we are doing this, and we do it well. And actually, because we did that, we managed to secure quite a few contracts just because we kind of stood up to them, which was great. But I'm not gonna lie, it was very scary, and it was hard. It was really hard. And I'm forever, you hear things, and you just have to kind of rise above it. And I think because I was a shadow for such a long time, and I was someone that was in the corner, or on the wall, as they said, like a wallflower. I think people, or some people in the past had this, again, they kind of put me into this box and was like, Michaela can't do it, she won't do it, she's not strong enough. So I'm every day, I'm getting up and kind of literally going against the grain, and going out there and doing my thing.
And doing it anyway. Love it.
Doing it anyway.
Doing it anyway. Fantastic. And that's the best thing you can do, because sometimes I think to silence those voices, there's no point in getting into an argument, because they'll say what they want to say and do what they want to do. So you just get up and you just do it anyway, which you have done with stunning results. So
thank you.
There we go. Okay, let's have a final break. And when we come back, Michaela, just an opportunity for you to share how people may be able to contact you and find out more about your work.
Great.
So here we are, final chapter on the show, that is. Michaela Johnson has been sharing with us about her amazing charity, HSO, the fantastic work that she's done, and the whole life journey that she has been on. And I think it's one that kind of it's here to kind of fill us with hope and to inspire us out of what has been a very challenging time for many, many people. It's just not to kind of give up or give in. Michaela, for our listeners that have heard your amazing story, how may they be able to find out about your work, how they may be able to support your work, spread the word?
So very, very, very easy. Go into Google, go into any web, just pop in Heart Schools Outreach, and see all of our information's on there. We have a number, so 033 577 9053. So if anyone's feeling low or sad or anything that they just want to vent and just get anything off the chest, and please do give us a call. We'd much rather you guys call us than than suffer alone. In regards to the website, the referral forms are all on there, so it's super duper easy. Just go to the website, find the referral link. Is a big blue box. Go into there and obviously input your details, and obviously all of the details are in accordance with GDPR. So we're not going to send big flashy emails and say thank you for contacting us and kind of alerting the people around you. It's all done very delicately. So I think if anyone wants to get in touch, or if anyone's listening out there who just kind of on the fence but is concerned about their mental health, or indeed if there's anyone out there who was very much like me, and in a sense that they were on the streets, or they haven't got a pen to their name and they kind of don't really know where to begin. I heard something a very long time ago where someone once said, if you're not happy, fully happy, you're not complete, it's not the end. It's today is not the end, and tomorrow is not the end, and it's finding the courage. And I generally do say courage when it comes to mental health. You have to have courage to face it head on, and you have to have courage to be able to get up in the morning and go brush your teeth and have a shower. And I think there's an awful lot of power to that, but I think recognizing that power and owning that power speaks volumes. And in years to come, it's like, as I have, you'll look back and be proud that you've accomplished it. And I think if anything, if you can go through a really pants day and a really rubbish day, go to bed and still wake up the next morning and go through it again, I think again it's recognize how strong you are as a person. But so just do contact us. And if for anyone who needs immediate help, or anyone who needs immediate resources, and or anything, you can just write things down or something more tangible, we have our website called Ahana Mind, which is obviously part of the charity, that you can download. We have something like 2,000 resources on there that you can just print off and use in completely in your leisure, and share as much as you can. So do check it out.
Oh, fantastic. Michaela, what can I say? You may be 5'1", but you are a giant.
Oh, thank you.
You really are. And I just want to, congratulate you on the success of everything that you've done. I know that
Thank
you will
you.
go forward and change many more lives for certain. Thank you so much for coming on the Women's Power Hour show. Really appreciate your time.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been amazing. Thank you.
Fantastic.